Hello again, everyone. I want to thank everyone who organized and participated this rich Congress, and I'm very pleased to be here. And special thanks for the kind invitation and the hospitality. Thank you again. Yes, today I'm trying to talk about the theater branch of people's houses. When I study on the theater plays written to be staged at the people's houses, I read about 70 plays, and one of them is Bayon'da. I can translate it, Mr. Leader, and written by the Münir Hayri Egeli. And it's a story about, a narrative about Atatürk, a man becoming a hero and making his community a nation. The time for the play is a prehistoric time, and the place is nowhere. And it's one of the first place stage in the people's houses. And a couple of years later, I saw the first draft of this play. And on every page, there are notes written by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. And Metinler says that Atatürk is the first dramaturg in Turkey. And all notes in every page surprised me. And on the first page, it's written to the writer of the play that please read it again and correct it. On the second page, he changed the names of the characters. And there is also another note on the second page that's written that there is an introduction of the play and a poem, introductory poem, and he says that no, we do not feel like that about ourselves. This is the main point of my speech now, and because we don't feel like this for ourselves, so how do we as Turks feel about ourselves? Is there a distinct emotional repertoire for being Turkish? And how can any emotion become a characteristic of a nation? How emotions transformed into political sentiments and nationalist feelings during the establishment of the modern nation state? In particular, how theater activities on people's houses, with a total of around 500 branches that surrounded the country and operated for nearly 2 decades to transform society according to the citizen model required by the new republic, had an impact on the formation of the emotional repertoire of Turkish identity. These were the first questions that came to mind, and in the course of this discussion, I will try to provide brief and rough answers to the questions. In the first half of the 1930s, as a result of political, economic, and social changes, Kemalism began to emphasize the importance of organizing its program in a way that would find resonance with civil society. Institutionalization became a path to establish dialogue with the people and to ensure the popular acceptance of the revolutions. As you know, the most significant institutions of that period, such as the Turkish Language Institution, Turkish Historical Institution, Faculty of Language and History Geography, and the People's Houses, were entrusted with working in parallel and strong collaboration to shape the cultural and scientific basis of the reforms. These institutions played a significant role in individual and collective identity construction. Atatürk expressed the purpose and the function of the people's houses as follows. The nation should be organized as an aware, understanding, loving, and ideologically committed mass of people. It is not enough to possess the most powerful educational tools or the most skilled teacher corps. We will not neglect the organization of a separate endeavor to educate the people and transform them into a collective entity. The people's houses will fulfill this task. Dr. Resmî Dicle, the Minister of National Education at the time, described the qualities of the plays to be performed in the people's houses as follows. In the people's houses, states on the plays that defend national theses are represented. Our subjects will draw from countless states of the general Turkish history and the national struggle, each of which can be an eternal source of honor and pride for a nation. They will derive from the elements such as the noble character and virtues of the Turks and the limitless material and spiritual powers in the Turkish spirit. As evident from the codes, the nation is depicted as a performative body composed of individuals bound to each other by bonds of love, united around a sacred ideal, carrying within them a certain repertoire of emotions and high virtues that are transmitted as an unchanged national essence from the past to the future. One of the most significant tools to portray and impel this body is theater, with its unique power of education. Between 1932 and 1940 alone, a total of around 11,000 theater performances were organized in the people's houses. From 1922 to 1951, approximately 110 out of the 386 different plays staged in the people's houses were written specifically to promote Kemalist ideology and to describe the national identity. The word Türk is frequently repeated in the text, emphasizing the descriptive significance. In Mavi Yıldırım, written by Atagündüz, I'm quoted. Türkan says that, long live Turkish army, Turkishness, what greatness, exists great son of a Türk, long live Anatolia. Ethnic, religious, linguistic, gender, class, and any other form of distinction are melted within Turkishness. By constantly repeating the word Türk as a subject noun in the text, Turkishness is defined as an ontological source of self-confidence and generates its own repertoire of emotions and performances. As Judith Butler suggests, performativity encompasses repeatability. If a performative expression can be continuously repeated, it becomes successful. Due to its engagement with norms and traditions, the impact of the performance also has a historical quality. The performance carried out to shape the future, thus so by repeating past agreements. The play Bozkurt, which narrates the victorious past of the Turks, aims to repeat and transmit past performances seamlessly to the present and the future by defining the performances associated with the past. Presented with the dedication of this work was written for you, taking inspiration from you, the play makes you both the protagonist and the recipient of the narrative, encompassing the identity in which you are included as an essence that remains unchanged from the past to the present and into the future, within an uninterrupted continuity. In the preface of Kurtuluş, the writer himself in the collective body, the writer includes himself in the collective body by speaking in we discourse, revealing the implicit we in the address to you. We are the descendants of a great nation that has filled its 4,000-year history with tales of heroism, born in the bosom of the nation of warrior descendants. We have not only known how to fight at the boundaries of the external world, stretching from the oceans to the Carpathians, but also struggled and succeeded at the dark doors of our inner doors. In plays, efforts are made to depict the genuine qualities inherent in the Turkish race: bravery, heroism, loyalty, love, and virtue. Therefore, all these emphasizes on a shared past and essence necessitate that every individual of the Turkish nation possesses the same qualities, develop a common behavior aligned with the identity when necessary, and acts in harmony with collectivity. The nation, composed of individuals who possess with the same nationality, same identity, and same pride, must move as a unified body. In the plays, the emotion that binds together all individuals, children, youth, elderly, women, men, rulers, public figures, soldiers, teachers, villagers, urban dwellers across different times over a 4,000-year history and spaces, and ancestral land and Central Asia and the mainland in Anatolia, is love for the homeland. Unquote. They call us Turks. The love for our homeland is superior to everything. It's great. It's easy to provide examples in the play Atatürk Köyü'nde Uçak Günü. This is a play about the solidarity of the villagers with the government during the Second World War. They give their money to the government to take place in the possibility and jump in a war. And teacher says, one of the virtues I observe in this village is love for homeland. They speak the truth and never deviate from justice, romanticizing the villagers' innate purity, righteousness, justice, and love for homeland. In the play, Bosco states that a nation whose sons, daughters, youth, and elderly trample with love for the homeland will overcome all obstacles. In Alparslan, it is expressed that, and do you hear the names of the plays, all about the Middle Asian roots of the nation? A nation whose heart beats with love for the homeland does not die. We have faced storms and hurricanes until now. Thanks to God, we have overcome them all. In this war, we may lose many brave souls, we may suffer greatly, but we will be virtuous once again. Gradually, the obligations brought by love and the sense of concern that nourishes love begin to pass in these words. So this becomes clearer as love for the homeland is associated with the duty of sacrifice and the possibility that it may be required at any moment. Patriotism, and therefore being a good citizen, entails tirelessly working in all fields for the development of the country, saving, using domestic products, paying taxes, engaging in sports, maintaining a healthy body, listening to Western music, enjoying the fine arts, embracing the guidance of scientific reasoning, merging one's individuality within the collective, loving the village, loving the villagers, recognizing friends and enemies, being loyal to the national leader, and remaining faithful to the national ideal, among a wide range of requirements. Most importantly, it involves participating in defense of the homeland and being ready to sacrifice one's life when necessary. The most intense expression of love is the willingness to sacrifice one's life, and this is dependent on the existence of an enemy. The same collectivity produced love also produces feelings like hatred, resentment, anger, and humiliation towards the unlovable ones. Sarah Ahmed, on his pioneer book, The Cultural Politics of Emotion, notes that the nation is an abstract effect of certain bodies moving toward or away from each other. And this movement aids in creating boundaries between things and forming the image of national character. But who is the enemy? But before this point, let me say a few words about the leader of the nation. In order for a new state and social construction process to take place in unity and harmony, the leader is endowed with absolute and sacred sovereignty as the sole representative of the general will. In the process of structuring the nation state of the new Turkish Republic, the state is defined as the nation gathered around its ancestor in the documents of Republican People's Party. Mustafa Kemal is portrayed in plays sometimes as a compassionate, guiding father figure, Gazi Baba, sometimes as a mythological hero carrying Ares sword, sometimes as a prophet wielding the sword of the thunder, at times as a deity, sometimes a soldier fighting alongside the nation on the frontiers, and at the other times a leader who brought freedom, civilization to the country. The nation in turn organizes itself around its leader as a unified, integrated mass. The leader is approved as a figure who saves, protects, establishes, nurtures, guides, and supervises. Therefore, the nation of the leader, approaching the leader as a single body, will distance themselves from the bodies that the leader points away from. I'm quoting from the Atatürk. Regardless of the limits of education we provide to our children and youth, we will teach them the following fundamentals. 1, to fight against those who are enemies of their nation. 2, to fight against those who are the enemies of the Turkish state. 3, to fight against those who are enemies of the Turkish Grand National Assembly. Nations that are not equipped with the means and tools to fight do not have the right to survive. Now, who is the enemy? The definition of external enemies is generally determined by a pragmatism based on political requirements. Although the War of Independence was fought against Western countries, Turkish national identity was formed, including Western identity as well. The intensity of fluctuations between love, hate, or admiration, anger does not allow for the formation of a fixed other image regarding the West. Therefore, a concrete other image is created through an internal enemy definition rooted in the country's own history. This internal enemy is the Ottoman Empire, an ancient civilization surrounded by a religious worldview. During the transition from Ottoman Empire to the modern state, the Republic of Turkey established its historical identity with its distant Central Asian origins by separating and antagonizing the elements related to the Ottoman Empire within. Ottoman Empire and all the material and spiritual elements it encompasses are perceived as a figure that suppresses the essence of the Turkish people and hinders their national development. In most of the plays, old alphabets, old clothing items, and bodies adorned with them are pushed outside the system of national identity markers because they pose a threat to the image, or rather the ideal of the modern nation state. Their visibility creates concern and unease, and as a result, they are sometimes defined as ridiculous and other times as provocative of hatred. In most of the plays, the Ottoman Empire is not utilized in the context of nationalist and civilizational policies, but also in the creation of village politics. The hardship endured by the villagers under the arbitrary and unjust rule of the Ottomans where they were subjected to taxation, conscription, violence, and humiliation are frequently emphasized in order to understand the new position acquired with the Republic. In the village, the control of life lies in the hands of feudal lords and pashas who have the support of the palace, and under these circumstances, the absence of justice is often highlighted. In Kurtuluş, it is narrated that the Ottoman Empire provided no services such as education, healthcare, or security to the villagers from which it collected taxes. I'm quoting, Fatma, is my father dead? Soldier, no, my girl, we sent him to the hospital. Fatma, innocently, what is a hospital? Soldier, curse the sultans, curse the puppets around them, curse the rulers who deem it too much for a true Turkish girl to learn about hospitals. This anger and humiliation is not only derived from the being humiliated, but also from the perception of the Ottoman Empire as a common identity of traitors who collaborated with external enemies during the War of the Independence. The Ottoman Empire, including the Sultan, Pashas, and their supporters, is portrayed as a sly snake with vengeance, lies ambitious on the road to strike from behind. Therefore, the underlying emotions towards the Ottoman Empire stem from a strong sense of betrayal. Anger and even hate develop towards a family member who cannot be completely disregarded, a sort of intimate other. Sarah Ahmed suggests that there is always a shared life and love relationship before hate, and the hate cannot exist without a long-standing disappointment and anger. Therefore, the other is kept close at hand, even to dismantle, negate, and defeat them. However, on the other hand, the impossibility of destruction, negation, and defeat creates concern, which is again attempted to be alleviated through anger and hate. In conclusion, I would like to briefly touch upon how the stage dramaturgy of these plays elicits emotions in audience and how the emotional experience facilitated through theater is politicized. The plays generate and circulate emotions through the arrangement of both textual and stage elements. Emotions produced through words and repetitions are further strengthened by stage indicators such as march, anthems, sculptures, flags, verses, lighting, sound, costumes, and stage design. Although used frequently within the plays, most of them also conclude with slogans and anthems. Destan ends with a tirade narrating the relentless battles of Kemalist children on the path of progress. Yaman ends with the exclamation of the Republic. Gavur Iman ends with the villagers standing holding weapons in their hands, their face filled with hatred and revenge shooting in unison, long live Turkish nation. And so on. So the organization of epic, lyrical, and romantic elements in the plays triggers national emotions and enthusiasm, allowing the reader audience to experience catharsis and emotional purification while the national discourse is reproduced. During the early Republican era, the emotional education of the masses and the creation of a shared memory, emotional repertoire, and the identity around the common ground were crucial. The emotional impact of theater played a significant role in spreading nationalist civilizational policies and ensuring their adoption by various segments of society, including children, youth, adults, urbanities, villagers, women, and men. The goal of the theater plays, commissioned and encouraged by the government within the people's houses, was to create a mass audience in alignment with the ideals of ruling power. This goal could be achieved through the manipulation of specific emotions, pride in the invented past, anger towards the rejected past, humiliation, mockery, disappointment, feelings of betrayal, concerns, and vigilance regarding the possibility of a new war, love and devotion to the homeland and the Turkish nation, and an embodiment of these emotions in a charismatic leader, evoking feelings of love, loyalty, gratitude, and admiration. Therefore, this plays exalted certain emotions and the bodies associated with them, while diminishing others, bringing certain bodies closer together and driving others apart. Each of these plays shows us the very public nature of emotions and the emotive nature of the public. These studies demonstrate not only how emotions persist in the present through the bodies of the past, but also how history, along with the stories of colonialism, slavery, racism, and violence, continues to exist, even opens up the future through different orientations towards the other. As I conclude, a few quick questions. Has this organization been successful? Have the plays staged at people's houses, in schools, and in villages brought together a diverse audience with ethnic, religious, class, and sexual differences around common emotions, create a unified nation that moves as one body? Does the emotional repertoire that defined the Turkish nation approximately 19 years ago still hold true today? For instance, can we say that hostility toward the Ottoman legacy is still a part of nationalistic affection today? What about the discourse borrowed by the party currently in power and claims to have overthrown all forms of nationalism from the nationalistic emotional policies of 90 years ago? These questions are quick, but I think the answers won't be, at least not for me. Thank you very much.